everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I don't know if anybody has seen on my Instagram, I posted a thing about if you'd ever broken a brake lever such as this and had to shell out to buy the entire assembly. I think for an SLX is around about 50 quid, which is kind of expensive if you've broken it, and then if you're like me, broke it exactly a week later as well. So what I did was I went online and tried to find just this part, because I was like, well, that'll be way cheaper than buying this entire thing, because I don't need a new reservoir, a new clamp, all that kind of stuff. I just need the blade. So I managed to track down this. So this is the M7000 brake lever, which is, I think this is either an M7000 or an M7100. I think the only difference is the fact that you've got this like mount that leans against your handlebar. Other than that, I can't see the difference. Anyway, so this is for the left hand one, which, if you'll notice, this is actually my right hand brake lever. When I took this apart, I realised that the actual lever itself is completely universal, as in it can fit the left or the right hand side of your bike. The only thing that's actually different, if I open this one up, is this tiny little spring. So that determines whether or not it's a left or a right. The actual lever itself can go on the left or on the right. So providing that you have your original spring from the one that you've broken, which is, you can just see the tip of it there, providing you keep that, there's no reason that you can't fit a left to a right or a right to a left. The only reason I'm saying this is because, obviously because of the pandemic, we've got a shortage of parts everywhere. And I could only get my hands on a left hand. So I was like, well, I bought two in case I break my right, I can go for that as well. So I'll show you how to take this apart. It's really simple, you need really minimal tooling. It's a little bit fiddly to get the spring back into place, but apart from that, you know, 15-20 minutes and you're good to go. I would recommend taking your assembly off the bike. I think trying to do this on the bike would be really difficult. But again, that's a really simple thing. I think it's an 8mm spanner that you need to take off your hose, and then obviously just whatever it is, a 4 or a 5mm to get your clamp off as well. Shimano are really good at providing a really simple way to bleed down the brakes. There's a wee cup that you can get to put in the top of it, and then it's literally just a case of putting the cup in, a couple of drops of their Shimano mineral oil brake fluid, and then giving it a good few pumps until you stop getting bubbles coming through into the cup, and then take the cup out, stop her back in, and that's you good to go. So to take off your brake lever, your broken brake lever, this is how it would be sitting if you had just taken it off the bike. There is a tiny little grub screw, there you go, yeah, so that little grub screw in there, which is, yeah, so your 2mm Allen key to undo this grub screw. There you go. You don't need to take it out all the way, but it doesn't matter, you're not using the brake lever again, so you can get rid of that. Then you have this little, don't know what you call it, dowel thing, can't think of the word. Anyway, that's super easy to come out as well. So now that the grub screw's out, you can take your Allen key and just push that out. There you go. So if you see there's a little nick in the middle, which is what your grub screw locks onto in there to stop it coming out. And then simply this all just comes out. So if you note the way that the spring is, so obviously this is the way it's come out. I'm going to flip this over. So you have your blade here, your adjuster here, and your spring sits in between. See, there's a little groove. Hope you can see there's a little groove in there and on this side, showing that this is either for right or left hand use. Your spring just sits in on the top there. So it's just a case of getting that back in the right place so that this hook sits back down against here. You can actually see, if it focuses, there's a little bit of wear just here where the spring's been sitting. So if you get a wee bit disorientated when you're fitting it, you can look at where the mark was originally, or look at your other brake lever and just remember that the spring was sitting in here, if you can see that. So that's where your spring wants to be when you put it all back together. So just to show you that you can reuse these springs, providing they're in good nick, just give them a wee check. Obviously these, like everything else, could get a bit corroded, start to break down, maybe not be as springy anymore, all that kind of stuff. Okay, I've actually just realised these new blades don't come with that grub screw, so actually don't throw that away, because you're definitely going to need that. And I don't know if I told you to throw this away, but don't throw that away either. So this is how to put the new lever back in. So we'll quickly just chuck this in the vise just because it'll make it a little bit easier. So remember, you've got your grub screw, your pin and your spring. Okay, so here's your new lever. So remember that the hook is going to go on your actuator, which is just sitting in there. So the easiest way is to get your holes lined up. Take your pin, and then it's a wee bit fiddly. Get that most of the way in, not all the way though. Then you can take your spring, remember hook goes to the front, slot that in there. Give everything a little wiggle, and push your pin all the way in until it's nice and flush. And there's your spring sitting in there. And now all you're going to do is take your grub screw, 2mm Allen key, just go into the side. And there you go. That is a new lever fitted to your assembly. Alright guys, I hope you found that really helpful. It's taken me a couple of days to figure all that out, but it's definitely going to save me some cash in the future if I keep on breaking brakes like I've been breaking them recently. Cheers guys.